And welcome to Racing, Pacing, Chasing, episode 10. I'm back with my number one co-host, Claire Lindott. Welcome, Claire.
I join you again. Here we are at the highway tonight, so it's closer to Morphettville tonight.
The highway, we've got to use the microphone. There's a fair bit of background music and noise going on, but I've struggled the last couple of weeks, to be fair. I've really struggled with Rocky back in the seat, and I fear our punters have lost faith in the RPC tipsters at the moment.
Aaron, I think you've done really well. I think you picked the Gawler Cup winner. We went Boris and Ossery, so well done to you for that one.
Did you hear how I picked that just quietly?
No, it wasn't a fluke at all. It was certainly a planned tip for the racing, pacing and chasing team.
Yes, well, anyway, we must thank our sponsors, the Prince Albert Hotel Gawler, that put on this show week in, week out. It is the racing show that does cover all three codes. Groundbreaking, you could say, by our number one man that we do like to give a fair bit of CRAP on, but that's all right. But we can't do this show week in without our sponsors.
No, but let's get straight into it this week, Aaron. We've got a big week, Melbourne Cup week. Fantastic race yesterday. What a thrilling finish. And I believe your pick, Prince Aran, did the best of our picks and ran third. Well done. Oh, sorry, elevated to second. Elevated to
second. I reckon there would have been a bit of chaos in office sweeps. Yes, I certainly know at our office there was an office sweep and they'd paid out on the 1, 2 and 3 and then they were collecting money back off people, and some people had already spent their $3.50 and others had spent their there was absolute chaos. I think there was some office that didn't even pay out on the new numbers. So it
was a very unusual protest. So the horse that ran fourth protest against the horse that ran second, and it was upheld, which means the horse that ran fourth is elevated to third, but the horse that is being deemed to cause interference gets put back behind the horse interfered with. So the horse that ran second got relegated to fourth, but Prince of Iran on the outside, as he was not involved with interference, he gets elevated to second. Yeah. And it was an interesting protest, being the same stable. The stewards protested, actually, and the jockeys didn't give evidence, which I find really unusual, being international jockeys, Frankie Dettori and Wayne Lorden. Here in Australia, as a jockey, if you don't give evidence, you actually could be suspended for not presenting evidence in the room. So it was a different inquiry, and I guess it's because the stewards ran it. That's the way they went about it yesterday.
Yeah, very interesting. And while we're on that, and before we must thank our sponsor of the racing segment, the Gawler and Barossa Jockey Club as well. But I must say, let's just talk a little bit about protests. And have you ever been in that position? We say like Vow and Declare was, at some stage punters are worried, was it Vow and Declare they were protesting against, and the hype, there's always been those instances where they're protesting against the winner, and the presentation can't go on, but this was fourth against second, but all full credit to Vow and Declare, and we'll get to him shortly. Great ride by Craig Williams. But have you ever been in that position with the protests, fourth versus second or third versus first, or in that case, and lost it or won them?
Yeah, I've been in lots of protests over my...
in a fair bit of trouble, that means.
No, I'm always whinging, typical woman. Oh, no, I didn't say that. No, probably... I've never been in a situation where I've been relegated by another protest happening. Probably my best protest that I ever won was a horse called... Good Dinkum Diamond, which I love the name, and she was flying home and the horse in front of me rolled out, and I came in and I said to the owner, so don't worry about running second, we'll get this on protest, and went straight through and got upheld. But I've definitely been also in protests which I've lost, and it's really a hard decision, I think, to try and estimate the ground that you horse might have bumped you or taken your running line to really prove how much grounds that cost you. Yeah. But I think yesterday, to me, the decision was upheld in the correct manner. Yeah.
And pretty hefty suspension to Frankie Dettori on the other hand, with, was it 9 or 10 meetings as well? Now, that's only 10 days back home for him, but pretty hefty suspension and fine.
Yeah, look, I feel a bit sorry for Frankie Dettori. Obviously, he's now had 18 rides in the Melbourne Cup and has never won it, and he's probably arguably the world's best jockey, but in Australia he doesn't seem to ride his best races. And so, yeah, he was proven again yesterday, and he's probably done... 2015, he probably did Prince Ance a favour when he rode Max Dynamite. Caused interference in that race, and he also probably did Australia a favour yesterday, because when he caused interference yesterday, he sort of shunted Vow and Declare over the line in front.
They did say that. And just talking about Vow and Declare, obviously like Danny O'Brien been through what he's been through with the Cobalt saga and come out the other side, and congratulations to him. And you saw the emotion involved, but pretty smart ride, I thought, by Craig Williams. Was probably looked beaten on the turn, but was still sitting pretty patiently and rode a very tactical race. And I know the old saying, and you hear it year in, year out, don't go before the clock tower. and I reckon he outrode Frankie Dettori there. He didn't go before the clock tower. Frankie was off and gone, but Craig sat and counted to 10 and the race-winning ride.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. Craig Williams is the ultimate professional, and I do believe the way he rode the horse in the early stages probably set that up for him. It was spoken up, and this is actually, I'm interested now, I'm on the other side of the fence. Sitting around doing form analysis, we speak about how we think the race at the Melbourne Cup's going to be fastly ran. We're talking about internationals that have lots of speed. And it's just interesting, the jockeys that ride those horses, they're all on a plane from America coming from Breeders' Cup. So the jockeys didn't hear that, they're supposed to be going forward and putting on speed. And I just wonder how much, as analysts who sit around predicting how the race is going to be ran, when really as a jockey, you really probably can't read into that. You should ride the race as it plays out, and I think Craig did that. He went forward on Vow and Declare. There's probably some jockeys now lamenting, like Damien Lane and like Jordan Childs, lamenting that they got too far back in a slowly ran race. So it's very easy to say after the event, but perhaps sometimes we do too much form in these big races and don't just ride that horse as it feels, and that's what Craig said in the media. He was really glad that Danny O'Brien said to him, look, we trust you and trust the horse and ride him as he feels.
Yeah, and normally that horse was ridden off the speed and he rolled the dice to be, he went past the post the first time in front, which is very unusual for that horse, and the trainer and owner probably sat in the crowd very surprised as well, but they had Craig Williams on for a reason. And you talk about that Prince of Arran, I was on him for namesake, but he, the Prince, the King of the North, the Prince of Gawler, so we'll go. They're happy with that back set.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say surprise baby for me is going to be the 2020 winner, so I'll call it early and see how hopefully, fingers crossed, he gets there next year. But he was the big run of the race. And Meredy Glace, the horse that I like, the Japanese horse, he probably was unlucky. But at the end of the day, that's the whole point of the Melbourne Cup. You have to actually make your own luck.
And full credit to Chris Waller. He came out yesterday and it was a win for Australia. Many people had doubted that Australia can't produce those stars anymore, and he's run 6th or 7th with Finch, but he didn't care. He was more. It was an industry win, and for him to come out and say that, I think it meant a lot to everyone. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, let's go with the Australians, and his horse Finch ran really well as well. So it was great to see a good result all around.
Yeah, 100%. But I'm going to challenge you this week on the show. We've got you said you want to preview the week's racing, so I'm going to get Claire Lindop to tip the card at Morphettville this Saturday. So for the viewers out there, we've got 8 races. We'll see how good a form you're doing when you're sitting on the other side of the fence. So race 1, we've got the Adelaide Galvanising Handicap. You found a winner there?
I think Jaguar is going to be hard to beat in that race. Race 1, number 1, and Jerry Chow claiming on the top weight.
Mad Jerry Chow fan now. He's got his first City Class winner. Race 2, the Channel 7 3-year-old maiden plate. I'm a big fan of Channel 7. I much prefer their coverage than Channel 10, but that might be a bit controversial. You haven't marked one here on paper, so you've got to totally wing it. What have you found?
Look, I think the Tony McAvoy stable has the Pugliest and Shelfar. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. And ridden by Bren Vorster, who's, I think, since he's been allowed to ride for other trainers besides Tony McAvoy, he's actually hit the front of the Jockeys Premiership. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes throughout the season. There is talk that he's going to be moving to Ballarat, but if he gets enough wins on the board here, he might still win the Premiership in South Australia as well.
Number 2, Flying Aaron for me. Arion, sorry. I thought it was another namesake. Race 3, the Nova 919 maiden plate. 8-horse field here. Which way are you going?
Look, I'm going to go with the Richard and Chantel Jolly stable. They're flying. Congratulations to them. Last week they had the winner of the Group 3 race on the first race in the card last week, which is also another racing, chasing, pacing. I always say that wrong, don't I? Racing, pacing, chasing teams 1 to follow, Kemple Parza. So fantastic for them.
That's a written warning. All right.
But yeah, going with Hypercane, race 3, number 6.
Now, race 4, very exciting. The Holdfast Insurance 2-year-old plate. First 2-year-old race of the season, a very good field of 9. Some good trainers featured here, some interstate horses as well, but you found one you like.
Well, there's 2 runners from the Hayes stable, and they were dominated last year with the 2-year-olds everywhere in Australia, so interesting to see how they run over here. But there's one for the racing, pacing and chasing team to really follow here called Ichiban Sun, and it is a half to Delasan. So race 4, number 2, keep an eye on that one.
Hot mail there, race 4, number 2. Race 5, the Pike and Joyce Handicap, but none marked out on the paper. What do we got? Here we go. I think you missed this race in your pre-race form.
Well, I'm going to go number 1, Cannot Be Serious, which is, I just love the name, and I think it's racing really well. Michael Hinton, Anna Woosher.
Thought you might have gone Raging Queen. But anyway, race 6. A bit after yourself. But
the Queen of the South?
Yeah, the RPC Queen. I'm the Prince of Gawler. We've got the King of the North. What's Rocky then? What's our feeling to Rocky? If we've got the King of the North, I'm the Prince of Gawler. You're the...
Did we say the Jester or the Joker?
The Joker, right? We'll call him the RPC Joker. I went and watched the Joker the other day. Anyway, race 6, the David Facklesy Freedom Finale Cup. Gone number 3, King Red.
Race 6, number 3, King Red. Look, he ran a really good race his last start here at Morpheville, and he was taken on outside by a horse outside him on the way, being a pest. And Todd Panel, the informed rider, and he had a super run last Saturday. Todd Panel on Behemoth for David Jolly and the Golden Eagle. He ran a super 4th, so really proud to see Todd riding interstate, and he's back here at Morpheville and going really well.
Race 7, the Medallion Homes Handicap over the 1,000 metres. Field of 9 here, one scratching already. What do we got?
Look, I've gone the top weight again, Zalmona. This is not being claimed off, ridden by Paul Gadd, but I wonder if over 1,000 metres, if a claim is really as important over the shorter distance. It's got to carry the 59 kilos. But Zalmona, trained by Peter Blanche, has been a very, very good horse. It's ran in some, been beaten only small margins in some group races, and he's running really well. Although we do have the John O'Connor on today as a guest, and he's got Miss LaBelle in the race as one to watch as well, number 7. So it'll be a hot race, but I'm going with Zalmona.
We do look forward to speaking to John a little bit later on. But race 8, the Dominant Happy Trail Series Final. You 13 horse field here. You've gone number 2.
Yeah, this is Tongside Boss. It's been a racing, chasing and pacing one to follow, and it did win a couple of weeks ago, so let's get on him again. And I see Boris Ossery is also running in the race, but I'm not sure whether it will actually suit him in the 1,400 metres at this race coming back in distance, so looking for Tongside Boss to win again. We
thought we'd do something different. We're being down at the highway and close to the track that we'd try and tip the card, so we're just going to review them at Morpheville Saturday. Race 1, number 1, race 2, number 7, race 3, number 6, race 4, number 2, race 5, number 1 and 6, race 6, number 3, race 7, number 1, and race 8, number 2. So for our punters out there, they're the winners. Mark the card, have a multi, and they'll join us live on the show next week. But anyway, let's get into our first segment, though. We must get into it. The 3 wide, no cover. Righto, 3 wide, no cover. Thanks to our team at Punt Club, amazing sponsors of this segment each week, and the $10,000 Punt Club prize over Spring Carnival's wrapped up now, so we look forward to hearing about that winner. Probably Rocky Butterworth will have a ticket or 2 in it, but if he goes off set for a few weeks, he'll be no doubt going off cruising, then back to the races. It was a fantastic prize.
Yeah, that's right. But we got from last Saturday, we've got in race 4 at Morpheville. I thought the Blue Bear was a little bit stiff.
Was that Rachel Clark on the board? Sorry, Raquel. Hugh Bowman got that wrong when he rode Dallas in. There must have been a bit of a few knives thrown that day.
Yeah, I don't find Raquel an unusual name, but poor Raquel gets Rachel all the time. So Blue Bear, I thought she went quite early on him and sustained a long run. Only just got beaten in the finish, and it was a close finish taken out by Corridorium, which is one of the ones that we followed from Richard Jolly's stable. And I thought the second horse in that race, Mio Miller, was also one to watch, but Blue Bear, I think, was... probably not one of Raquel's better rides.
Not one of her better ones, but we'll make it up. We'll go straight into In the Money. In the Money, thanks to the Ladies in Racing magazine, and your best make friends with Raquel now and find one that she did ride well.
In the last, at Morpheville last Saturday, Deck Collector for Stuart Pavan was second up, and she was held up, Raquel, on it at the top of the straight, but when she got out, she really wanted that win, and she was really outrode Anthony Darriman in the finish, I think, there, and got it up as a favourite for the punters. So, yeah, she's back in the good books with a good ride there. Well,
you've potted and then you've praised her, so let's take a look at the replay here over the last 300 metres.
Right to the outside. They're about to turn the bend. It's Carla Vasi narrowly from on the outside, Easy Beast. Morvada third, Go the Journey. Now, Deck Collector's into the clear if it's good enough. Lope DiCaprio and Aguilette right down the outside. Easy Beast hit the lead, but here's Deck Collector. Morvada's coming with it, and wider out Aguilette. Inside the 150, Easy Beast in front. Deck Collector's coming. Easy Beast a half. Deck Collector driving. Easy Beast, Deck Collector. Oh.
All right, your second one. Now, this is a bit of a favourite of yours. Octane out of the Phillip Stokes barn. Kayla Crowther took the ride here.
Yeah, look, Kayla herself said it wasn't a pretty ride because she had to get so far out of the ground, but that's the way the horse likes to race. He's now won 3 races here at Morpheville, and it does sound, hearing Tommy Stokes speak after the race, that it might be heading over to Melbourne, but let's follow it there and see how it goes. But yeah, it's a beautiful horse the way he finishes, and I don't think we've actually seen it bottom out yet. It always seems to recover very well, and it's not even blowing after the race, so it'll be interesting to see how he goes in Melbourne now.
Let's take it all to the replay. It never looks like getting beat the last 300 metres.
Love Magic and Octane, the favourite, is last and out deep and coming forward. Up towards the bend. We wouldn't have predicted that. They turns. The race is clear. Akakan comes off its back. Then Call Me Curtis. Down the middle, Heaven Still. Running on Thompson's Reward. Where's his favourite Octane? It's right down the middle. Burning the Clock's only battling now. Starting to pick up inside the 150. Out wide, Octane's come from last to chase Thompson's Reward. Burning the Clock through, but Octane, oh, you won't see a bigger win today.
Righto, well, you found some, we've caused some controversy there. We like potting rides, we like praising them, so we've done both on that segment as well. But we must thank our sponsors week in, week out. And there is a fair list and a growing list of sponsors on our racing show, but I'll hand over to you to run through them.
Prince Albert Hotel at Gawler, Punt Club, Ladies in Racing Magazine, Gawler Jockey Club, Fleuro Milk Company. We're still waiting for our iced coffees, Aaron.
Yeah, still haven't got them.
Slow Tours, Sports Centre, Southern Trophies, Peter Page Holden, MGA Insurance Brokers, Almilton Station.
And we do have a special shout out to Adam from Sports Centre, who has recently become a premium sponsor as well. So we thank our sponsors week in, week out. But bit of a different show this week, front bar of the highway, and you've tried to tip the card at Morpheville. We haven't tried, you have, and we look forward to joining our special guest joining us very shortly. So hang around. We've got John O'Connor on the show straight after.
Disclaimer: gamble responsibly.
Gamble responsibly, but load up. Claire's done her form and she's got the inside word. So combine both and you'll be right. But stay around, viewers. We've got John O'Connor up next. And welcome back to Racing, Pacing, Chasing. This is our very special guest segment, and we're joined tonight by none other than John O'Connor, a very famous name in the training and riding ranks around Morpheville. And we tried to get the show started a little bit early, but John, everyone come in. They wanted to stop and have a chat, mate. You're a very famous name in town.
Thanks, Aaron. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure to have you on board and tonight, and we look forward to throwing many curveball questions at you, but none better than when Claire will go 60 seconds with you, 10 questions, and there's some hot questions and quick answers needed. So I'll pass over to Claire. She's got a few interesting fun facts to kick us off.
Thanks, Aaron. I'm not sure about fun facts, but I just wanted to, when I first came to South Australia in 2000, I think, John O'Connor, you were still riding at the time, and you were a great mentor to me when I moved over here. And when did you transition to becoming a trainer?
That would have been about 2003. So when I turned 40 and stopped riding and started training full time.
Yeah. At the moment, you've got a stable here at Morpheville.
That's right, Claire, yeah.
How many horses in work?
We've got around 12 to 14 at a time these days, Claire.
Yeah, you seem to concentrate on having that smaller stable, and your motto seems to be hands-on and individual training for each horse. Would that be fair to say?
Yes, we did get up to at one stage in the mid-30s in work, going back some years ago now. I don't think it was doing my health much good, to be honest with you. So we sort of made a decision some time ago to try and keep our numbers down to what a level that we're comfortable with, and a bit more one-on-one attention with the horses, and I think our results are better that way too.
Yeah, so over the years you've trained about 300 winners we're looking at, and a strike rate around 11%, which I think is really fantastic, very admirable. And many of your yearlings are bought on small budgets, and you seem to get quite a few owners involved, and you're very good at communicating with all the owners and the syndicates. How many owners do you reckon you'd have roughly in most of your horses? Do you have large syndicates or generally small?
I couldn't answer that with any accuracy as far as how many, because there's so many syndicates involved these days, and there might be a syndicate that owned 10% of a horse that had got 20 people in the syndicate. So I couldn't even answer that. There'd be several hundred, I suppose.
Well, we say when you share it in the syndicate, you got 10% of the cost, but 100% of the thrill. So I think it's a great way to get involved with racing, and you certainly have shown that you've had horses over the years bought for a small amount of money and have had a good return on your investment. What's some of your better winners? Can you remember some of the best ones I've had?
Since I've been training, probably the best performer was a horse called Blunique that he won the Adelaide Guineas at about his 6th or 7th, 8th start. Performed well in Melbourne. He won the Pink Ribbon Cup in Melbourne, and he won probably 5 or 6 group or listed races. We bought him at Adelaide sale for not a lot of money, and the owners knocked back a big offer from Hong Kong after he won the Guineas.
Yeah. And you have sold one not to Hong Kong that long ago. I think you had a good horse you were telling me a little while ago called Burst Away. What happened to him?
He. I think ability-wise, he's as good a horse as I've had. He on the training track, he could you'd think he was cantering, he was running bloody course records. You know, he was a very talented horse, but he had a bit of a temperament issue that it was probably going to be his biggest downfall, and he was eventually sold to Hong. Well, he was not eventually. He was sold to Hong Kong after only about his 6th or 7th start, and never got to see the best of him here, unfortunately.
That sometimes happens with those horses, but I think that's not a bad way to go sometimes as well when you're looking to on-sell horses. And you've done that recently too, talking about mentoring. You mentored me as a younger rider, and I've seen it happen recently with Scott Westover, who was apprentice with you for a little while. He's just started training in Alice Springs, and you've supported him by sending him up one of your horses.
Yeah, I've had a number of apprentices through our stable, and Scotty was certainly one of the better ones. We got along really well. Scotty, I knew his dad actually quite well. We rode together back in the day, and Scotty finished his time with me, and we just got along really well. He's a very good work rider, Scotty, and a good jockey too. But obviously the weight got him. But he's the sort of kid that could make a trainer because he was such a good horseman and work rider, and he was looking for horses to build his stable a bit, and I thought Love Club would be the right horse for up there because he was a very speedy horse and he could race on the speed. And if he handled it dirty, he was always going to be okay up there, and he's done a great job with him. Yeah.
How many's he won up there now?
He won. He got beaten the other day. He won about 4 out of 5 at one stage. Yeah. So he's got him going really well.
Oh, well done. You should be really proud of that achievement. I think Aaron was going to ask you about.
Now, so this week you got Miss LaBelle engaged at Morphettville. Likes to get on the speed, but you reckon there's a bit of speed in the race?
Yes. Well, 1,000 metres in a track, you're always going to get. It's a speed contest basically, but. She's led in a lot of her races, but she certainly doesn't have to. We've taught her to settle when she needs to. But you're right. You ride each race as it presents. Barriers are a big thing in determining your race tactics. If you draw in, you use that gate. If you draw out, you might ride differently. But she's drawn about 4 or something on Saturday, so we'll have a look at the speed in the race and work out whether we plan to lead or plan to take a sit. She can do either, so we'll have a think about that.
It'd be hard for some of these jockeys to pull the wool over your eyes, having been out there and ridden all the 600 plus or 800 plus winners yourself. Much conflict between the, you've been there and done it, the jockey and trainer now?
I think I'm pretty good to ride for, to tell you the truth, because I think the advantage is that having been out there myself for so many years, you know that all the game plan and instructions and that they can be brought undone in the first 20 metres of the race. So. I understand that, which perhaps someone who hasn't ridden races mightn't understand it so well. So I think I'm pretty forgiving most of the time. Yeah.
Now, one of your more recent winners, Anguston. We say the horse, it's called Anguston, but at Murray Bridge. So where's he at the moment, and where to next for him?
He just went to the paddock actually today, Aaron. He had another run here the other day, and he was a little bit disappointing, but he did get interfered with quite badly late in the race. So he's a nice little horse on the way up. He's not going to be a group winner, I don't think, but he'd be a nice little Saturday grade horse place, right? And but he's only a little fella. He just needs to grow and furnish a bit, so he'll have a good break and come back.
Yeah. And while we're on your horses, is there one to follow for the our punters out there that hasn't probably stepped out yet, but not far away?
I hope so. We've got some, like Left Hand Man's only a couple of weeks off trialling, and Magic Phantom, who won a couple of 2-year-old races there. They're both on their way back. Left Hand Man, no, we've got about eight 2-year-olds that are all unraced. I think they're probably the nicest lot of 2-year-olds I've had for some time. So it's a couple that are showing a bit. They're not at the races yet, but there's one or two in particular that we're pretty hopeful for going forward. So haven't even got names yet, but. Yeah.
That's a very big statement when one of your highlights in your career, probably in 2013-14, you were the most successful 2-year-old trainer in the state. So it's a pretty big fact, or pretty big statement to come out and say probably the best group of 2-year-olds I've had.
Oh, yeah, I mean, potentially, which is, as you know, a very dangerous word. But when I say 2-year-olds, they mightn't even necessarily race at 2. They're just very early stages. But I think.
Bit of education.
Yeah, and I'm not big on smashing 2-year-olds. I think one thing I've brought up a few times, if you look at, since I've been in racing, the great champions, and I don't use that word lightly, but the great champions that I've seen, with the exception of Manicato, I'd say every single one of them almost didn't race at 2 or barely won at 2. So I think there's a lot to be said for giving horses time.
No, for sure. Now, just one question I did want to touch on, and you do a lot with your website and bits and pieces, but your syndication, how do people get involved with John O'Connor Racing, and do you have someone do that for you, like a lot of these bigger stables do, or is it driven by yourself, or how do you go about that?
And I'm very lucky. I've got a guy called Corey Cale, who's a brother-in-law of mine, who's come on board in the last year or so, doing a lot of owners liaising and getting people involved. And I'm not much of a salesman, so he's been fantastic in getting people involved. So yeah, if you can, anyone wants to visit the website, we'll have Corey's contact details on there, and he'll point you in the right direction.
And probably not, but is it a full-time role for Corey, or like for your stable? I know there's some of these bigger stables probably got 2, 3, 4, many people in that sales role, but is it a full-time role for Corey?
Not exactly, but he puts a lot of hours in though, and he's very diligent, and very lucky to have him. Yeah.
It's like Rocky Butterworth to me, Claire. He puts in a lot of hours for me on the side. But anyway, we'll let Claire go to the. We've probably got a question there for you, but I'm looking forward to the 10 questions in 60 seconds.
Thanks, Aaron. On the website too, there's a fantastic logo. One of the best logos I've seen for a racehorse trainer. A little bit of the salute to your favourite footy team, Carlton. It's quite a clever little logo. So check out John O'Connor Racing on his website. It's a good little logo, that. And I've just got some questions here. It's supposed to be 60 seconds, but generally speaking, I've set the benchmark. We've got about 3 minutes. So, yeah. See how we go here. John, the best horse you've ever seen?
I couldn't go past Kingston Town, but I know there's been some beauties in recent years, but I'm a bit old-fashioned. I love the King.
Yeah. Best horse you've ridden?
My boss, when I was a kid, had a great horse called Double Century that was a near champion. He actually ran second to Kingston Town a couple of times. So a guy called Ron McDonald, he's a Warrnambool man, Ron McDonald. He passed away a few years ago, but great horseman.
So where were you apprenticed?
At Flemington.
Okay, wow. So when did you come to South Australia?
When I was about 20, I come to ride for Joe Hall when Joe was pretty big, and finished my time with Joe. And
we're glad to have you. The best trainer you've ever seen, apart from yourself?
No. Look, how do you separate Barton, CS, and Tommy Smith, and there's been some. One guy.
You've got to choose one.
One local guy that I rode for back in the day. He's no longer with us, but I thought he was just an absolute genius. Was a guy called Mick Armfield. Okay. And he had a small team, but he always had a group horse, and they weren't well-bred horses. They were just locally bred horses. But geez, you could turn them into group horses. He was a.
Yeah, I've heard some good stories about him actually. The race you've most wanted to win but didn't.
I don't know. I suppose the easy one's a Cox Plate, really. I suppose
Did you ride in the Cox Plate?
No, I never got to ride in one. No. But yeah, it's fun. I think in this day and age too, the cups have become very much, the overseas horses' domain. So I think the Cox Plate's still got a bit of an Australian flavour about it still. Just.
What's the best race you've probably ridden in?
Riding a couple of Newmarkets and Oakley Plates and a lot of Adelaide Cups and Goodwoods and that, but Newmarket's probably the biggest race that I'd come close to winning anyway. Yep, but yeah.
And what's the biggest winner you've ridden?
That'd have to be the Sangster here on a mare called Even True for my father-in-law and mother-in-law. Yep. It wasn't Group 1 then, but I wish it was.
And your favourite track to ride on?
I'd probably say Morphettville. Beautiful track. No one ever, no one complains about it. And even the jockeys who come into state always sort of, rave about what a good track it is. We're very lucky to have it here.
And what about to train on your favourite track as a trainer now?
I'd have to say Morphettville because that's obviously where we race most of the time. But I've had a lot of luck at Balaclava. It's probably our best strike race. Probably been at Ballack, I'd say. Yeah.
Okay. And are you a Winx or a Black Caviar man?
You couldn't separate them really. I mean, one was unbeaten and one was unbeaten for the last 4 years of her career. But I think Sunline was right up there with them too, and Mackay, of course, and. Little filly called Surround back in the 70s.
A horse outside the question.
There's been some. How do you separate any of them? I'd love to have anyone, wouldn't you?
Yeah, we've had some really good mares actually. Blessed to see them all. And now, one of the things I used to love when I used to ride work at Morphettville was walking past you in the mornings, and you'd often stand out in the middle to watch your horses, and you'd always come up with a funny anecdote or a joke to make me laugh in the morning when you're really tired and. It might be wet and cold and raining. You don't really want to be there, but you always used to make the mornings go a little bit easier for me. Have you got a little joke or anecdote for the racing? I'm putting you on the spot here, racing, pacing, chasing fans.
I can't think of one right now that's probably G-rated enough to...
For the family show. All right, we'll come back to you there. Well, then I'll hit you with another hard-hitting question. You are a trainer now and we're a jockey. What do you think of the dual licence with the jockey and trainer licence that some of the jockeys hold? Do you think it's fair? Would it something you would have liked to have seen back when you became a trainer? Or do you think there should be a cap on how many years you can have a dual licence for?
It was actually in existence going back some years ago. David Belford had a dual licence. John Murray had a dual licence. They stopped it for a while, but it's back now. Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things I think jockeys need to be careful not to rush into it because, from where I sit, if I'm looking for a jockey for a horse and there's a jockey with a dual licence, my question is, are they a jockey that trains or are they a trainer that rides? I just don't know where their passion lies once they got... Yeah, once they're both. Yeah, a bit of both. I don't know, but I think, younger jockeys, they need to, I don't think we should be rushing into it, Have a career first as a jockey and then, maybe when you're transitioning, it'd be a good time to take it on. But I think they should be careful to not rush into it,
It's good advice. I'll have to get Shane Cale on the show one day and ask him, but I think it might have actually improved him as a jockey. He's probably never worked harder in his life. Now he's a trainer as well. And lastly, your favourite drink, John. My favourite drink here is the Fleuro Peninsula iced coffee.
I'm off the alcohol at the moment, so I've developed a taste for Dr. Pepper. You ever drank that?
No, I haven't.
It's beautiful. It's an American drink. It's a cherry cola. It's magnificent. No, the local IGA stores it.
The local crowd here at the highway. Sorry about that, John.
Oh, I'll have to get it in stock. It's a great drink, actually, when you have when you're not having a drink. Yeah, it's
okay,
great.
I'll have a Dr. Pepper after my iced coffee. All right, thanks for joining us, John.
Thank you.
I need to thank our sponsors, Aaron.
No, thanks, John. It's been a pleasure. As it's no disrespect to you talking very quietly. You're a very quietly spoken man, but we are at the highway tonight, and there's a lot of background noise as we've just seen, Claire. But it's good to come from the front bar of the highway tonight, John. But thanks for joining us on the show. It's been a pleasure, and we've got a couple there for our viewers to follow, and that's what it's all about: finding our viewers at Racing, Pacing, Chasing a winner or two. So, thank you, and the best of luck this Saturday.
Thanks, Aaron. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Welcome to Racing, Pacing, Chasing. This is the Harness segment, episode 10. I'm joined by my co-host, Rocky Butterworth. Welcome, Rocky.
How are you, mate? All right?
Pleasure to have you with me once again, mate. It is a special show.
It should be.
Love joining with you this time every week, but we must thank the sponsor, the Kapunda Harness Racing Club, who are the segment sponsor of the Pacing segment, week in, week out, but also Prince Albert Hotel in Gawler, who sponsor Racing, Pacing and Chasing. Two great, very good sponsors.
They are, and don't forget Gawler Harness, which is run by your old man as well, of course, out at Gawler, but they've come on board in a good way as well, so we'll get out there at some stage in the near future and have a good chat to Pete.
Yeah, we look forward to doing that. He did actually put a request in that you put his logo up this week, Rock, so he said he's a sponsor now, but you've missed him the last couple of weeks.
I would love to put it up, mate, but I don't think he's got one.
Yeah, there's a logo there. You got to take it off the front gate. You got to take a photo off the front gate. So I'll go when I'm going home tonight. I'll take one for you, right?
Good, righto.
But we must also mention that we are filming tonight from the front bar of the Highway Motel, or Highway Inn, sorry. Highway Inn.
Ex-Glenelg champion, mate, that you had no idea who Simo was, which is frightening.
This is the first time you've told me that.
Couple of flags, 280-odd games, played for Hawthorn. Run these pubs.
Is this pop me night, is it?
No, just letting you know, because it's important that you know the things about superstars like Simo.
Front bar, don't make me pick up a glass, mate. Anyway, let's get straight into some local news. Brought to us by the Gawler Harness Racing Club, and we do thank them for jumping on board, and we'll get their logo on. Thanks, Dad. But let's just touch, Rock. We'll start with a bit of controversy. Programming. I'll let you go, and then I'll have my opinion. I thought pretty ordinary last week to have Perry and Strathalbyn on the Monday, and Strathalbyn fell over as a result. There needs to be that one meeting at Globe Derby. And we've come off the back of 6 months ago seeing what happened with no racing at Globe Derby. Yeah. It's not good. Any meetings falling over, especially one a week when we've only got two.
Well, it's no secret. I had a discussion with Gary Crocker about this, the chairman of the board. And I said I didn't want to be a smart ass, but I knew as soon as the programming came out that there was Perry on the Saturday, and then the other side of the state in Strathalbyn on the Monday. That was never going to hold up. They weren't going to travel to Port Pirie and then jump in their floats again Monday and head up to Strathalbyn. So it's really bad that we miss a meeting, because there are enough professionals in the industry that rely on that second meeting a week to earn a living, and we can't just sit in our hands and say, oh, well, that's bad luck. It's more than bad luck. It's actually cost some people their job in the industry. So it needs to be fixed quick, smart.
Yeah, I agree. And we can't dwell on it. We have to get together and work out the solution for it because, you know, we are down to that 2 meetings a week. And, you know, Tasmania do it, for 3 months of the year, but they're just about to start pick up 2 meetings a year. And you saw even someone like Ben Yold down in Tassie had the number of horses he does, has to, you know, take a team of 12 to 15 horses to Victoria. But I was only talking to someone about this today, and I speak to Ben most days. He's had a very successful campaign in Victoria. I think he's won near on 150,000 from his horses just in his 3-month stint, and he heads back to Tasmania with his full team next week. So congratulations to him there, and he'll be back. I think he works all of 60 horses, or he does, and with the 2 meetings a week there, like it's a big difference for someone like him when you go from 2 meetings to 1 meeting. So we see that example, and we've got it here firsthand.
Yep, too right.
And you've got Mount Gambier this Friday. So we've gone Perry, Strath, Mount Gambier. It did hold up, but you know. It's taken, and full credit to him. Shane Loon's taken a team down there for that sprint series race as well, where there's 2 races on the one night. So he supported that club, and full credit to him for doing so.
I agree. Yeah. No doubt about that. He's done that consistently, Shane, as well. He will nominate wherever. He is one of those blokes that are happy to race his horses twice a week, though. And a lot of us can't do that for whatever reasons, but his horses seem to be conditioned enough to get around twice a week, but he does support wherever they are.
Yeah, it's similar to the Ben Yold. Like Ben Yold does it down there. It's his style of training, and he does a very good. He's leading our premiership at the moment, Shane Loon. So full credit to him. But let's. We've also got. We've got the Globe Derby meeting this week, and then also Monday. So there's really 3 meetings in the state, but just spread out one down south as well. So good program and some good racing on Saturday night here at Globe Derby, and then Monday as well. But let's just go interstate abroad. So D Denudo is an interesting horse that. You know, we're not talking high-profile races. We want to talk one, the everyday run-of-the-mill. Yeah. But now in the Emma Stewart camp, it's won its last 2. I'll let you talk a little bit more about it. It's quite impressive. They've had the horse all of 5 or 6 weeks. Now, we know Emma Stewart and Clayton Tongan, who's just got his trainer's licence, actually. As first runner back since 2004, I believe. Goes around this week with Ride High. So he's his first runner back this week, and he actually takes on 3 of Emma Stewart's runners. Yeah, he said he's got a special connection to that horse, so he's back in the training ranks. But Emma Stewart and Clayton Tonga do an amazing job with their horses. Amazing doesn't even describe it. And D Denudo here, what about that horse, Rock?
Well, mate, if they charge around the same as any other trainer in Victoria, and it's in that age group of 5 to 8, 9 years old and has been plodding around earning a cheque every now and then, this horse, D Denudo, which I follow because of The Castle.
The what?
The movie The Castle.
Was there a movie called The Castle?
Yes, there was, mate. You got to get out of that little bubble out there at Gawler, mate, and have a look at The Castle. It's 4 starts prior to joining Emma's stable. Started at $115, $45, $45 and $30 and finished down the track. Right? 6 weeks later, it's won first up, but the second run was unbelievable. It was 3 wide until it finally found the top, and then they took it on when it did find the top, and it's run 155.6 around Geelong over the long. It ran 155.6 the week before over 1690, another 500 metres, and it still runs exactly the same time.
Mile rate, not the overall time, just for viewers.
That time would just about win the Indian Dominion for him. That class of horse, to do what it's done in 5 or 6 weeks, who knows where the horse will get to over the next 3 to 6 months with Emma Stewart. What an unbelievable story.
Good run there, as we've said, and continuing to improve. An amazing story, and you're right, where to next? And they've got an amazing eye for horses, Clayton and Emma.
I have no idea how it got into their barn, but if they picked it, man, they're geniuses.
Yeah, I agree. Anyway, 3 wide, no cover. We've got to get into the segment because there's a few here to follow, and then we've got the prestigious, renowned RPC Drive of the Week award. So let's get into it. 3 wide, no cover. Righto, Rock, 3 wide, no cover. Thanks to MGA Insurance Brokers. You've found one here, and you're actually you're pretty buoyant about this one on Saturday night. We're at Port Pirie. We didn't have the best of nights ourselves, but and we'll get to one of your. We'll pay a little tribute to one of your mares shortly, but you found one that you like this week going into Globe Derby on Saturday night?
Well, I do. There was a rider with it that it had to draw well, and Solar Sonic had to draw the second row. Well, it hasn't panned out that way. Solar Sonic's drawn 6, and Wayne will just rock it to the front.
Moral. Absolute RPC moral, Solar Sonic.
And unfortunately, Dean Girardi's drawn second row with Julius Franco, the horse that I'm picking as our 3 wide no cover. It settled last at Port Pirie. We know that for whatever reason the horses don't come from the back there, and it ran home really strongly for third, and I just thought he's got that horse ready for this $17,000 final, and unfortunately drew the second row, and Wayne's got the front, but I reckon it's a dead set Quinella, so I'm really happy to jump on Julius Franco Saturday night.
Yeah, good each way price, I think it'll be as well, given the second row draw. But you're right, had it drawn the front row, and the barrier draws are always going to play a result in this race. Talking to Wayne at Sunday at the trials, Solar Sonic only had to draw 6 or 7, and the race was just about all over. He'll be very short, Solar Sonic. He's come set for this race, and they're going to do They're going to do very well out of this for what they paid for the horse. They've turned its form around. It won last start, but they were a little bit disappointed in its run, Solar Sonic. They treated it. It was a little bit crook after that run. And set it, it was probably a little bit unders at Pirie first up. It hadn't trialled again since its last run. It'll take good improvement from that front row. It'll be pinging. You've never seen a quicker horse out the gate. Probably, and I was talking about the only horse that would hold it's in the free-for-all, the Ides of March. Yeah. It's the only quicker horse out in SA, but it'll be leading. It'll be winning. Solar Sonic. No, in the money. In the money, thanks to Fluoro Milk, Clay Mods and Kimmy K and Rocky, you've got one last chance, and I mean it, one last chance to put chocolate banana, strawberry, Fluoro Milk right here in front of us. I'm sick of saying it.
Mate, we're at the Highway Inn where they sell beer, scotch and every other drink that you want, and you want me to put a couple of little strawberry milks up here for you in a pub? That ain't happening. I don't care who mods it.
The queen.
It's not happening.
The queen of the show's requested it. She gets what she wants.
When we get back to, I'm not even listening to that. When we get back to somewhere that's not a reputable hotel like this that sells flavoured milk, that ain't happening. So we'll put Kimmy K and Mods front and centre at the next show with their beautiful milk.
We look forward to that. We're going to have a little intermission next week. We must say that. We take this opportunity to say we are going to have a little intermission next week. It's been a big spring carnival. We've got the 45 shows throughout the year. So episode 11 in a fortnight's time. You've got 14 days to prepare. We'll see some milk on the show. All right. Now, in the money, while we're here, I like this one you found, but I've found one better on top of it. But I'll let you go.
Rightio. Well, I found J. Edgar. I watched the trots last Friday at Shep. And I had the volume down because I think I was on the phone to you at that stage, and it rocketed home from the rear, and it has the potential to do that. J. Edgar, who we're talking about, but it settled last. Abby Turnbull drove it, and it was still last turning for home, and it was making serious ground in that last 200 metres. And matter of fact, the last 80 metres, it probably made up a good 2 lengths, and he's a Mildura type horse as well. He's won a couple of good races there. If they do take it up there, mate, I reckon win from there to Broken Hill.
Big call. There's another one floating around. I don't mind. But we'll take a look at the replay first of J. Edgar.
About 35 metres would cover the field with a mile to go, and Sugars has the favourite in front. Illawong Class strode across them from the wide alley to lead comfortably enough, and is getting a comfortable, trouble-free run for the favourite backers. No one's gone near it. On its back is Sheer Modern, and racing third on the pegs was Tiwanaku as they work their way inside the 1400. Now, Michelle Phillips is going to make the move on Revolt, the second favourite, 41.6, a pretty good lead time. So as they slow up, it's often moving the second favourite to go up and park. Mama's New Dude can take some cover and get the 1 out, 1 back. 3 back on its inside there was Tiwanaku. 4 back the pegs was Dearest. 5 back out Quinn. Underneath of Ian Raymond, who shuffled to the back half of the field. J. Edgar's on the inside if she keeps coming, and Not a Replica is at the tail. 31-1 first quarter of the mile. So getting a little mid-race breather is Illawong Class down past the bell in the Shepparton BMW pace, and as he has the second favourite, the main danger up on his outside wheel, Sugars, he gets them going again on Illawong Illawong Class to the 800, 3 metres clear. Revolt on the outside has moved up to park for the final circuit. She Modern's had a lovely run and travels sweetly right up on the bit, ready for the Saddle World Shepparton sprint lane. Fourth, Mama's New Dude. On the inside, Tuanaku, then Ian Raymond. Back on the pegs was Dearest looking for luck. She keeps Cummings, 20 off the front with 600 to go. The second quarter was quicker, 29.9. Then our Quinn, Not a Replica, and J. Edgar. Illawong Class is trying to run its rivals off their legs through this last lap. Leads by 3 metres. At its wheel second, Revolt having to work hard. Giving some ground on the inside. Sheer Modern as they quickened up down the back was just left lamenting a little. Dropped the bridle. Mama's New Dude's driven up too. She Keeps Coming is doing just that from the back of the field with a long run, moving up to fourth. Held up was Tuanaku, then J. Edgar. 28.7 down the back. Top of the lane, lead Illawong Class. Revolt on the outside, hanging tough. She Keeps Coming, still grinding on. Illawong Class has got a lead. Revolt, She Keeps Coming. J. Edgar motoring home, but Illawong Class is going to lead all the way. Illawong Class beats Revolt. She Keeps Coming third, just in front of J. Edgar, who is storming home. In behind.
What have you got, mate?
I got one out of me number one man's camp.
Yep.
Zazu. I know it's been in good form. It's had a few weeks off. Did trial very impressively. I'm going to put it down as our trial file. All right, interstate. I won't tell you what he said if he let it go, but it's in all seriousness, it's a serious horse on the rise. Zazu. They've done very, very well to find this horse. The stable is on fire at the moment. Kate Hargraves and Alex Ashwood. They took 4 to the trials just a few days ago as well, and Zazu was one of them. They took some new. They had River Boss there as well. Well Defined was back, the good trotter, and a very nice young trotter in one out of the square as well. So they've got a very good team of horses coming through, but Zazu is their headline act.
Yeah, they're going very well. There's probably only one horse that's not living up to his potential at the moment over there, isn't there?
Tries about as hard as me as I used to at the Williamstown Oval at 8:30 on a Saturday morning.
But the good thing is, mate, we're talking about Ideal World, which you own and have trained here in Adelaide. He's a serious racehorse, and the way that Albie and Kate are going with the horse, they'll find the bottom of the mystery to Ideal World, and he'll win some good races for you.
Yeah, he still ran fourth on the week. He's ran 2 fourths back this after the short let up, but we've got a plan in place for him, and I'm confident he'll be back to the winner's circle in a short period. But while we're on that, we must just talk about your horse, Rocky, which one we like to follow. We've sent her to the breeding barn to be a mum, very well bred, but. We made a decision as a trainer and ownership group. There's probably 30 or 40 owners in her. We talk about ownership groups and plenty of people involved, and we talk about Lava Tess. We never saw the best of her, but a short career, and unfortunately we had to make the call to retire her.
Well, when they're in that sort of pain and always needing that spell and hard work to get them up, she's such a beautiful mare to deal with for you as a trainer and us as owners. So it was the right thing to move her on to the breeding barn. So we'll miss her in the stable. She's a beautiful horse, but time to see what she can do.
And it's times you have to make those calls, but she is very well bred to the one change, a Group 1 winner too, and she's been sold to a very high-profile private breeder, so we look forward to watching her, and maybe one day we're buying one of her foals. But let's go into Drive of the Week. Drive of the Week, thanks to the Kapunda Harness Racing Club, and we're going to go 3 votes this week. Brody Webster.
Absolutely. 3 back the fence on British General and found his way out of that pocket at Port Perry. Found the line really well, British General. That's the way he likes to race, and he's a helmet follower, no question about that, and Brody drove it very, very well.
Yeah, drove very well there, Brody. He's driving well at the moment, and he seems to drive Port Perry really well, probably better than Globe Derby, I'd say.
Yeah, no, I agree with that for sure. I think it's because of that Webster patience as well, that they wait and they find the gaps, and Perry does give you that opportunity if you're prepared to hang around where you are and then wait for that last little bit of luck, and he got it Saturday night.
And you're right, he is that sort of driver. He does like to drive with a bit of patience, but that's why he does suit a lot of horses. 2 votes, Lisa Ryan. I Am the One did break through. Toby Ryan done a very good job with this horse.
Yeah, the only reason why I put it up so high in the drives was Perry's just that track where you've got to go forward, and she did push forward really hard from the start, so she got past a few horses soon after the start and then took that chance to go to the death, which looks a simple drive, but I just thought the thinking behind it was good to get up to the front, and she controlled the race a bit. They had a 32 1/4, I reckon, which probably helped win the race, and just got home. So
No, tough win. And one vote, Ken Rogers. He'll be right up there in the point score. I don't think he scored one lot of three, but he scored some twos and ones as well. And we'll bring you a full leaderboard when we come back in 2 weeks' time as well. But we'll update that. But his drive on Ides of March caught your eye, Rocky.
Yeah, it did. It's the same thing. The Ides of March has led its last 2 starts prior and won very, very well. Drew the second row at Port Pirie, and all of a sudden it's $7. And everyone forgot that Kenny might just go to the front here, and he did. Yeah. He found his way to the front, came out aggressive at the start, got to the top and controlled the race himself, so I thought that was a good drive.
I was actually watching that race with you, and they come past us, remember, and I looked up, and I think you looked down at your phone, you like the mid-race odds, and you looked down at your phone, and I said, Kenny's in front. We didn't even notice as well. And Ryan was in front at the time, but he was waiting for Kenny to make that move, and after already being attacked earlier, but he waited, and Kenny calm and obliged and went straight to the front, and it was all over.
Yeah, that's right. That's the way he's got some aggression about him, Kenny, when he really wants to get moving.
On and off the track.
On and off the track. Yes, that's true. Trial fault?
No, Zazu's our trial file, so we did sanction that. But let's just talking on Kenny. So Kenny and Danny got the Australasian Drivers' Championship this week down in Hobart over the weekend. So they're not actually here to drive in the claiming final. And we do talk about the $17,000 claiming final with Solar Sonic in it this week. But all the best to Kenny and Danny down in Tasmania this week as they go to battle. We look forward to hopefully one of them can fly the SA flag and we get them on the show and talk about the win. Yeah.
Both of them, hopefully we can get both of them at some time in the next couple of weeks and have a good chat about their experience in driving against the pretty serious drivers that they're up against this weekend.
I'm pretty sure they wouldn't have sat in row 13A and 13B together.
No, that wouldn't be happening, mate. Probably on different planes.
Row 6 and row 26, I reckon. But anyway, any more to cover in race pacing news this week, Rocky, I should say?
No, mate, we're starting to build our own stable, but we don't blow our own bags here, but we are on the right track, hopefully, and we just hope that HRSA can get this state together and build a bloody solid foundation for us moving forward.
I'm hoping there's a nice trial file to talk about in a couple of weeks' time.
That'd be nice. Yeah, I think you got one in mind there.
We'll leave it at that. Anyway, thanks to our viewers this week on our pacing segment. It is episode 10, and as we did say, we're going to have next week off. We've got a short break. I've got to travel for work. Claire's out. We don't want to leave the show to you. No, you're not busy. We just don't want to leave the show for you to run by yourself. We worry about what it'll do to the brand itself that we're starting to create. Cotton.
He knows a fair bit about armor racing.
He knows as much. He only knows as much as he does when he's on the drink. That's the problem.
Let's go home.
Anyway, thanks, viewers. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time with racing, pacing, and chasing. And welcome to the chasing segment this week from Racing, Pacing and Chasing. It is episode 10, and I'm joined by my co-host, Claire Lindop. Welcome, Claire.
Thank you. You haven't got the expert form tips tonight in Ben Rawlings, so you've got me, I'm afraid.
He didn't. He actually tipped horrible last week, so don't worry about that.
So you got the sack.
He's out. He's out. He's won in a month, and the week before he tipped the card, I think, at Gawler, and this week he couldn't find our viewers a winner. But anyway, we'll talk about Battle Dream later. It did win the consolation, but we'll get to that shortly. We must thank the Gawler Greyhound Racing Club for bringing us this segment every week, and they did a fantastic job. Their cup meeting on Sunday, just over 600 people there on course, and great family event. So there's certainly plenty going on there. But we talk about RPC Zone. Now, we've come up with a new name because you've been struggling with the name, Racing, Chasing, Pacing, in a minute, so we're going to change it. Rocky.
You're saying it like I say it.
Yeah, no. I said it because that's how you say it. Rocky, Prince, and Claire, all right? So I'm the Prince of Aaron after the Melbourne Cup. So Rocky, Prince, and Claire, just remember it like that, and we won't have a problem.
I think I get excited about the greyhounds. I keep putting them in front of the harness, so that's not Rocky's not happy about that. So
what about
I've got to remember that.
What about the Dapdo dogs closing down? Actually, and talking about chasing, and we're in that segment. Dapdo dogs, they always used to be the get me out of trouble stakes, you could have said.
Yeah, so New South Wales has had a little bit of issues with their greyhounds, as we know, and I'm not sure whether they'll get it back open, Dapto, but yeah, shock closure, it's been happened just last week, so we'll see what happens there. We'll follow that story closely.
Now we do have a very good feature on the show tonight, a package that our filming crew have put together, similar to what we did for the Gawler Jockey Club after the Gawler Cup, and that come together really well for them, and they were really happy. But that we're out there filming on Cup Day on Sunday, and the winner, Awesome Catch, which we'll get to the replay very shortly. But we've got a good little package to show at the back end of this. So I'm going to keep the segment very brief, but maybe just Awesome Catch. You just go through the trainer, the owners there.
Congratulations to Rob Camilleri, the trainer, and the owners Tim Aloisi and Matt Lehman. Awesome Catch was a fantastic win, and great to see the Gawler Cup really be well supported by all the town out there, and congratulations to the club on a great greyhound evening.
Let's have a look at the replay now. $30,000 for the winner, Group 3 status. Watch Awesome Catch ping the lids, and it's just about all over.
225, Awesome Catch, second line loading, Gawler Cup about to go. Green light's about to be activated. There it is. Lures running. Gawler Cup. Favourite Awesome Catch. They're ready. Set to go. Racing. Awesome Catch. Jump well. Will be the early leader. Tackled by Alinga Jess. Kisses for Clota 3. Wider got tight. Alinga Jess found the lead. Kisses for Clota second. Third the rail. Awesome Catch and moving up out deep immediate. Then came behind the Maxwell Footloose. Fantastic Bronx midfield from Star Anise, and last is Alpha Rayon. It's now Awesome Catch getting the run and darting clear in the cup. Put up 4 lengths on them. Alinga Jess running on out deep was immediate. But it's Awesome Catch, an awesome win in the Gawler Cup.
Very good win there by Awesome Catch in the Cup. Benny Rawlings, couple runners there, a bit disappointing. I did back Kisses for Clota each way at big odds, but it's going to go for a little let up now, as they say in horse terms, go to the paddock. I actually asked, it was quite interesting. We interviewed Benny on the segment a bit later, and he says it's going to go for a little spell. And they only leave it in the kennel, or they got a bit of a day yard for it. It's quite interesting. I actually look forward to getting out to Benny's stable in the barn, I should say. I call it stable. Out to a kennel in the next few weeks, and or hopefully, and taking a bit of filming there and just seeing what happens out at one of those, a kennel, you could say.
Yeah, I've heard they actually have him inside on the couch watching TV with him, so maybe that's actually what he does.
Very good win there. Bet or Dream may well accompany Alicante Boucher to Melbourne, they tell me, as Alicante Boucher winning the Group 2 All-Stars at Cannington only the week before gets an automatic entry into the Melbourne Cup semis, I believe. So Ben's not 100% sure yet whether he'll head over, but it'd be amazing to see that dog fly the flag in WA and then go and head for the Melbourne Cup in Victoria as well.
I'll keep you updated. Keep tuned into the RPC team.
We do got to keep him coming in leading up those big events. He won the Group 2 All-Stars after coming on the show. He flew out to Perth the next day, and then he went on and won the Gawler Cup consolation. But I'll just go to me notes. He can't join us tonight, but he sent through a couple to follow. So my dogs to follow this week, AB's Kennel Watch. Right, so my dog to follow this week, Madison K. Madison K, trained by Graham Brown. It's had 5 starts for 4 wins at Gawler over the 400. Benny's he's told me, wait for this dog to get over 500. Run and won on Cup night in a juvenile, but went quicker than the open grade sprinters. So one to watch there, Madison K. My other one, run of the week, Woodside Jester, won Monday night over the 388 in a good time of 21.96. Sounds like me over the 400 metre. Very sharp off the blocks back in the day. Been a very long time since the dog's broken 22 seconds. I was good over the 10. My first 10 of the 100 was my quickest. But another one that we want to see get out over the 500. So my 2 dogs to follow this week on RPC is Madison K and the run of the week, Woodside Jester. So put them in your black book.
Thank you.
All right, only a short segment this week. We do have a big package for our team at the Gawler Greyhound Racing Club, and they've put a fantastic show on Sunday night for the families out there involved. Well over 600 people. We're going to cross now to the footage put together by our filming crew at RPC.
How are we going, racing, pacing, chasing fans? We're down here at the Gawler Gold Cup, the biggest event here at the Gawler Greyhound track. Aaron, tonight, mates, we've got some great interviews, but also the place is pumping and there's going to be some serious action down here tonight.
Really just a great family event. You know, you see the kids running around, the jumping castles. It's just a great day out, face painting. There's going to be plenty of entertainment on and off the track. Really looking forward to today, Nighty.
Yeah, mate, I've already seen the owners of Regazzoni, Benny Rawlings, one of our, they got hats.
We'll have to get them interviewed a bit later.
And so we'll get onto them, Panagotto and the crew there, and Benny Rawlings, he's a little bit nervous, had a chat to him earlier today. bit of a stiff box draw for his dogs, but hopefully goes well and we can find a couple of winners, mate. What's your best of the day, mate? Can you tell us through it?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Benny. He's got a run in the cup with Kisses for Clota. Box 9, each way chance. That's for mine in the cup. Watch him to be jumping on the bunny.
There's nothing quite like a reserve dog as well, mate. And as we said, we're going to get around. We're going to get to the trainers. We're going to get to the punters. God, we might even try and interview a couple of the kids as well as they're having a great time. But, mate, let's get straight into it. It's going to be a cracking night.
Looking forward to talking to Sean as well, just really about the day. It is great. We're here. Plenty of interviews to come, 90. Let's get amongst them.
Let's get into it. All right, we're here down at the Fresh Bean Coffee Track with one of the absolute legends of Gawler and a man that knows this track very well. He's here all footy season as well. Cozzy, mate, it's getting a bit fresh now. I'm in shorts and a t-shirt, but
Put this on, Matty. Yeah,
you'd be
fresh.
starting to do a few coffees now.
Yeah, just picked up a bit. It was quiet first hour or two, but he's just been flat out.
And, mate, you're in prime position here at the 331 boxes. You've been having a few winners yourself?
Don't bet, mate.
Well, that's a win to start then. So, mate, and with the coffees, how many you reckon you'll get through tonight? Big crowd here. A few might be starting to the beers might be getting a bit cold, so a few coffees to come, you reckon?
Oh, I reckon so. I think we'll probably sell a couple of thousand. I'd like a beer right now, but...
Well, I reckon, mate, we once we close up here, come upstairs and we'll have a beer and go from there.
Love it. Thanks, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Well, Sean, the day's arrived, the biggest day on the calendar here, and really looking forward to it. It's a great family day. How many are you expecting?
We're hoping for about 600 people. Yeah. So, yeah, if we can have that, we'll say it's a really successful day. So, yeah, it's fantastic. We look, at the end of the day, it's, building up to it, and here it is, and away we go for another year. And weather's been pretty good today, so hopefully it sort of stays nice during the evening. Got plenty of entertainment for the kids, and obviously food vans, and the buffet sold out upstairs, so I've got 200 up here, people enjoying themselves. And the final for the Gawler Gold Cup this year is going to be absolutely sensational, so I can't wait to watch that race. There's probably 7 of the 8 dogs could win it, so yeah, can't go wrong.
We might bat the 8s, mate, if you're only ruling out one of them. But you do, the buffet you talk about. We've already had something to eat in there. It's a great. You put on a great spread for the crowd that are here, and you talk about what the entertainment on and off the track. There's some great racing on the track tonight with 6 races, the G6 concept as well, and then you got the jumping castle, face painting, all that for the kids. You really do make it a family event.
Yeah, it's all about having it a family type event. It's have the kids along. It's fantastic, and it creates so much interest and enjoyment, and the kids love being able to get close to the dogs here. I mean, basically the fence is right on the track, so at the end of the day, kids can lean over, pat the dogs, and it's a real that sort of bringing it all together. Yeah.
And behind us, we've got a band as well. We've got a live band here as well, so we expect to go long into the night. I think Benny Rawlings is having his after party here for the Group 2 All-Stars last week. I think he was going to kick on a bit, but...
I reckon he might. Geez, how good is he? He's flying, isn't he? Yeah, it's fantastic.
My tip, I've stuck with him in the cup. I'm going Kisses for Clota. What do you like in the cup?
Well, actually, when Kisses for Clota got brought in as the reserve, I was like, oh, that might be the one for me. Yeah. So I'm sort of like fancying that as well. So
could round out a big month for Benny. He has been on fire, as you've said. But it's also good. I see Shane Collins around, and you really, it's about. And you were at the Gawler Jockey Club Gold Cup last week. It's really, you really support each other in the town of Gawler, and we are a small community, but a very close community.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Like, it's great to have Shane along, and I really enjoyed going to the Gawler Cup last week, Friday. It was a great event there, and it is all about like Gawler being community, and even though it's a larger town than what it was 20 years ago, it's still that closeness, and everyone sort of knows everybody. So yeah, it's good to have everyone along, that's for sure.
Now I see on your badge you got the responsible person badge. I'm just worried if these boys over our top shoulder here, Regazzoni boys, if they win tonight, they could drink the bar dry. So I'm glad you got that badge on. They'll bring the grandstand down.
They could well bring the grandstand down. When I got this responsible persons, I was the most surprised. So I've got to be a little bit responsible, but most people are well behaved at this show, so it should be okay, I hope.
You're looking a little bit stressed. There's been plenty go into the night, but it's going off great early on. We've had one race already, but you put a lot into you and the club, and you must be commended. But hopefully by race 12 you can sit back and have a nice quiet ale and enjoy it.
I might have a little beer later on.
Maybe something a bit stronger.
All the best tonight, mate, and we'll get out and interview a lot of owners, trainers, just general participants as well. I think the Regazzoni boys, they got hats made up as well, so we'll get them online. But that's what it's all about, really getting amongst them and promoting the sport of the greyhound racing, and especially here at Gawler. You're doing a fantastic job.
Cheers. Thanks very much. No, it's going to be a great night. Looking forward to it. Enjoy.
Thanks, guys.
All right, guys, we've talked about him. They got the Regazzoni hats on. It's the owners of Regazzoni with Benny Rawlings, one of our panellists. We've got only half the crew here. Tyson, just take us through who we've got with us today, mate.
We've got Ned, Franny, and Shelley.
And Ned, I'll ask you, because Tyson's last bit of camera work after his horse Bella Luciana one wasn't too good. So we'll let you do the talking, mate. But the boys, tell us a little bit how this group's come together, mate.
Oh, look, it's a good group of mates that have come together. Like Shelley and I have known each other for a while, and Tyson, sort of the ringleader, and got us all together, and just a bit of fun, and it's just good to be here.
And the dog itself, it's provided a few good wins for you, and a lot of fun for the boys as well.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, so far, a couple of wins, a couple of seconds, and so
hasn't missed a place. Hasn't missed the top 2 in 8 runs, so.
That's right. We'll let Ned do the talking, Tyson. But no, Tyson, I will throw to you to get involved with Benny. A bit of a funny story about how you got this dog, and you've come out on the better side with Regazzoni.
Yeah, so we're gonna get him or another dog, and the other dog arrived to Benny because he bought the other one, and it broke its hock. So I'm pretty glad we got Reg. that was my decision to get Reg. So.
Yeah, we'll give you all the credit, mate. Don't you worry about that. And just getting involved with Benny as well, with the syndicate, how easy was it to do, and how can the punters out there get involved in greyhounds?
It was real easy. Just messaged him, and he teed it all up, really.
Well, thanks, mate. Thanks for that in-depth analysis.
It's really easy. Just throw him a message, and yeah.
And are we, just another question, are we going to give him Select Mick as well?
I don't know what Select Mick's doing, mate.
Good.
Tired.
Well, I haven't seen it at the races, and I haven't seen it collect yet, so I'm still waiting for my money from Select Mick. But boys, just talk us through the hats, mate, today. And I heard they're actually on sale here at the Gawler track as well.
They will be at a quite expensive price because we need to pay for Regazzoni and some other dogs. But no, we've got 7 in the syndicate. I've got 9 hats, so there might be one for you.
I definitely want one, and even if it's Yeatman's, I'll take that one as well. But no, boys, good luck tonight. I'll certainly be on, and hopefully we can have a few beers to celebrate after a win tonight.
Cool. Thanks.
Cheers, boys.
Lights on. Bunny's on its way. Racing now.
6.
What's that?
It's 6.
He hates me. Come on.
all right, here we go.
Come on, Ralphie. Go on, Rick. Get on.
He's out early.
Oh, he's caught up. Oh, he's running last.
Come on, Rick.
All right, and we're treated to a little bit of celebrity status down here with Shawnee Johnners from Married at First Sight. Shawnee, you love the Gawler Dogs, don't you, mate?
I do, and you use the word celebrity way too loosely. But yeah, no, it's a good night down here at Gawler. It's a bit fresh tonight, but yeah, no, it's a good night. Great facility, like they've done a really good job.
They've certainly upped the ante. I know I was down here last year, and I reckon there's a few more people in here tonight, and they've got the band going in the background, and the beers are nice and cold for you as well, mate.
The beers are beautiful, and they're only $6, so that's a bargain. And yeah, they've got a bit of atmosphere, the music, and it's a lovely night. Look at that skyline over there; it's amazing.
Beautiful. And mate, any winners tonight? You having a win?
I've had a couple of bets, but I haven't actually managed to pick one yet. I'm shit house.
Pretty much the same as us. And I know last time I spoke to you had a couple of dogs. Have you haven't got any running around tonight?
No, none tonight. Those 2 dogs that I had swiftly made it through the Greyhound Adoption Program.
Successfully?
One went in the other day. She's cat friendly, so that's probably the highlight of her racing career.
Beautiful, mate. No, you enjoy the rest of your night and enjoy the beers.
No worries. Cheers, mate.
If we get to the car, but we've run out of battery on the camera, I'm gonna
We're down here with one of the up-and-coming race callers in the business in Lockie Stace. Lock, just coming for a look tonight, or are you on official duties?
No, not on official duties tonight, mate, but it's a big night, good crowd, so I thought I might as well come down as the up-and-coming young race caller. So, no, it's fantastic. I always do a good job with this club. Good crowding. It's fantastic to be here.
Mate, you absolutely, you love getting around it. You call at Globe and wherever else as well. What's on the card this week? You got any big calls coming up?
I'm actually scheduled to be at Mount Gambier Friday night for the Trox down there. That's their first meeting of the season, so that should be fantastic. And I'm basically just hanging around, mate. I still do races weekly at meetings. I get 1 or 2 races a week usually at Angle Park, something like that. So, just enjoying it, mate. And it's great to be involved with the Trox and Greyhounds, both very good industries with great people, and I'm very lucky to be able to call weekly. Yeah.
And, mate, any tips for tonight that you're having a look at? Anything in the cup that you like?
Nah, nothing tonight, mate. I'm not going to lie, I haven't really done good form, but I did good form last night for Port Pirie, and I got 0 wingers, so I think I might have to do what you did during a week and do a lap around the track. But form-wise, I'm okay at race calling, but I think I'm a bit of a mug tipster.
Very much like myself in the multi then, but no, mate, enjoy the night and hopefully you pick a couple of winners.
Thank you very much, Matt. Great work.
Righto, Shane, CEO of the Gawler and Barossa Jockey Club here tonight at the Gawler Greyhound Club and for their Gawler Gold Cup, and it's just great to see you come and support the club and enjoy their big night as well.
Yeah, it's wonderful. It's great for the region, and obviously not on the back of ours. Only a week or so later, it's fantastic to see so many people here, and it's a great night for the club. So we love supporting the Greyhound Club, and I talk to Sean quite frequently, and he does a great job over here. So it's good to be here.
Both clubs are doing a fantastic job, and it's 1 week to the next. Hopefully one day we can get the week of racing in Gawler and get the harness involved as well. We might have to get together on that.
Yeah, good idea. Look, it's great that the clubs are thriving, and for our whole area, and whether it's the race meetings themselves or other things around the community and businesses and all that, seeing people come along and being able to have a great night, that's what it's all about.
And your wife's here tonight as well. It is a real family affair at these meetings, and all 3 Gawler clubs do it very well, but here's tonight, young kids, face painting, jumping castles. It's a great night, but you do the same. You attract that family culture at the races, and you've got that area down the marquee set up for them and for the general public as well. But that's what it's about, getting young kids and the young families to the races.
Couldn't agree with you more, mate. I mean, we often stereotype some things within the racing industry, but the great thing about whether it's dogs, whether it's the trots, whether it's the thoroughbreds, is it's a great family environment, and it's an opportunity for kids and mums and dads, and bless my young son at home, he'll be spewing he's not here tonight, but it's great for the whole family to come along, and there's always something for everyone, and the clubs do like putting that on and making sure that there's a real good family feel about it.
Yeah. Watch this space, though. We're going to get together. We're going to talk about really building it up for the years to come with the team. We've had some great success in the last couple of weeks, but you've already done your money early on it. You followed our man Benny Rawlings. Stick with him, though. He's told me stick with him. He'll bounce back.
All right. I trust Benny. I trust him. Obviously had a great win in Perth last week, and I missed that after listening to him tell us. But I'll stick with it, mate. It's good. The wife's back 3 winners in a row, so I might just follow her. So.
Get off, Benny. Follow your wife. Benny's tipping his kisses for Clodagh in the cup, so I'm going to go with that each way. Got him started as emergency, so 1 to follow.
Yeah, and it ran a good heat, didn't it, the other day when it won? So, let's hope for the show. Benny gets the chocolates, because that'll be great. So, it's a really good event, and, well done to Sean and his team. They do a great job, so it's great to be here.
Yeah, glad you could be a part of it, mate.
All good.
Joined by Benny Rawlings now, our regular panellist on RPC, and you won the Gawler Cup consolation. Benny, well done there with Bet or Dream.
Yeah, thanks, mate. No, he went super.
Yeah. Really good run, and pinged to the front early, and it was sort of all over then.
Yeah, it would be nice if he did it in the heats Tuesday, but no, he's a good dog and showed it tonight.
Yeah. Now, the 2 in the cup, probably just a little bit, disappointing, but, you can't win them all, I suppose.
No, the dog in 3 definitely wanted it wider, and the bitch, she's probably just reached the end of her prep for now. She'll have a little break and go again.
Pretty pity we didn't have better dream in the final. He might have pinged the lids and gone from there.
Yeah, he probably would have podiumed on the time he went, but nah, it's all good. We'll find another one.
Now the Gawler Club themselves, they do a fantastic job here. It is a great family. We talk about the family atmosphere that they put on. You've got a couple of young kids yourself, and it's always good to really get the families come along to the track.
Yeah, there's plenty to do here. A lot of atmosphere, a lot of kids around. Great vibe here. Yep.
No, certainly they do a very good job, and it's been a great night of racing. It's been a bit chilly, a bit fresh in the air, but I might dress a bit more appropriate next time. But is there one to, we always ask, is there one to follow out of the camp still in the coming weeks as we put this package together?
We definitely keep following Better Dream. We might look at some bigger things for him. And Lucy's Nimbus, I mentioned him a couple of times. He'll be starting to show his form, I reckon.
Where to next for Better Dream?
I'm taking Alicante to Melbourne, so he might come for a ride. So we'll see how we go.
Good travelling companion. We've called it RPC's own Better Dream, so we're following it. But well done tonight, Benny, and keep up the good work.
Thanks, mate.
All right, now we're joined by Tim Edwards, race caller here tonight on the Gawler Cup meeting. We've just had the running of the Cup, and what a fascinating win as well.
Yeah, it certainly was. Awesome catch, was really good. Sat behind the leader, got the right run at the right time. He had the form on the board in Victoria, and he ran very good, quick time tonight as well.
And you must love coming to the Gawler Cup meeting. It's a great family event, and they do a great job here each year, and 100 times a year as well.
Yeah, they do. They race here twice a week at Gawler, but particularly on Gawler Cup night, it's pretty special. They get a lot of people here on track, a lot of families, and the weather was pretty kind to them tonight.
And you got quite the view here for your. You got to be right on the line, but only a little box as well. But it's business in here.
Yeah, we don't. Some of the tracks we go to, we get larger broadcast boxes, but this one's only a small one. But we're right on the line, as you can see, and when they come around the home corner, you get a good view at them, and on the on the line, you've got a great chance of getting it right as they hit the line.
And a little bit about your race calling. How many years you've been calling for now, and how many times a week would you call?
Oh, gee, I reckon I've been calling since going back at least 17 years now. I call 4 days a week minimum. That's what we're rostered to do. But in saying that, I call greyhounds, I call harness racing and gallop. So I call all three. So I'm pretty lucky.
And have you got a favourite dog at the moment in the greyhound ranks in SA? Is there one particular that catches your eye?
Well, I love my stayers, and at the moment, 530 is a dog. Or a bitch, I should say, that goes really well at the moment. She's flying. She's exciting to call because over a distance trip she finds the line. But in general, we've had some good dogs here over the years. Wormburner was one of my favourites. We've had so many good dogs here over the years. I guess off the top of my head, he would probably be my favourite I've called.
And Alicante Boucher flying the flag into state at the moment. Benny Rawlings' team flying. He's a good patch of form. You must love following the dogs when they go into state.
Yeah, Alicante Boucher. She's got that really good speed out of the boxes, so that gives her a shot basically anywhere in Australia. But particularly when she won the other week in WA, yeah, she speared the lids and led all the way. So yeah, she's got a great talent.
Thanks, Tim, and best of luck. Best of calling for the rest of the meeting.
No worries.